So, hello everybody. I recently had a discussion with my good friend Odo about the Windows audio mixer because he had to help a friend with setting up an online audio conference and he thought that it's just a mess and pretty horrible. While I don't disagree, there are actually some really cool things about it which you might not be aware of. So, let's dive into that. We are not talking professional audio in this video. It's the normal audio mixer which you use with the normal app, so no ASIO or anything. So where is it actually hidden and where can you find it? It's a bit tricky. So you have in your taskbar this little icon here which shows you the audio output, and there you can set the volume. For example, if I play back here from one of my projects, a Mosify project, back a song, you will see nothing. So that's the one thing missing. You don't see VU output or volume output. But nevertheless, you can change the volume here with the mouse, or you can also use the mouse wheel. So you can scroll up, down to change your volume. And you can also mute the output completely. For example, if you want to talk to someone. And you can click on that icon as well, which gives you the choice to select a different audio output, which is always great if, for example, in Teams you have selected the wrong output. You can quickly change that. But there is actually also the mixer hidden. So you see there's a scroll bar, and if you scroll down with the mouse wheel, you will see there is actually the mixer hidden. And here you see all the currently running applications which can produce audio output. You see now here my playback of a song here in Firefox. So in Firefox I could also now change the volume. For example, if it always produces loud output or always have some background music playing while working, I can turn down the volume here of Firefox and it remembers its setting as well. And for example, if I would play back a second thing here from this audio player, it would also be possible to adjust that volume, or I could also even mute one. So I could mute here Firefox or mute them both. And for example, if I would have a Teams output which I don't want to hear, or the other way around, I could also mute that simply. There are also quicker ways to get here. You see here is a key combination, pressing the Windows key, the Control key, and the V key. And this brings you, if you press that from here, brings you directly to that. And from that, you only need to use the mouse wheel to scroll down. So it's pretty fast, pressing the key combination, using mouse wheel, and you're straight at the volume mixer. So it's actually pretty fast to get there if you remember that. But there are also more settings. You can click here this little gear icon and then you get into the volume settings. Maybe let's stop the playback. So in the settings, you also get the main output volume, you get the output and the input device. Because something's missing here, if you are here in the mixer, you only have the outputs, you don't have the input volume, and to change that you need to go to here, and here you can also select the input device, which is currently only always one stereo or mono input. And to change actually the input volume for that, you need to go one level up, and here you find again the input selection and the output selection devices, and here you can change the input level of the currently selected input device. You can also do that by going here, and there's again this input level slider. And maybe something interesting is here audio improvements. So this is helpful if you do video conferences. It improves the sound of your microphone. If you want to get the pure sound from your microphone for recording, for example, then it might be a good idea to put that to off to not get interesting frequencies clipped off. But there are also other ways to get to these settings. You could also directly click here with the right mouse button on the icon and directly can also open from here the mixer or the settings. So here are the settings where you can directly change then the input volume as well. So also pretty fast way to go here. And you could also open the mixer here to change the mixer settings. But nevertheless, it's a bit of a hassle to go there, even if there is this cool key combination and scrolling down brings you quickly here. And there is a little tool to the rescue. You already saw here the screen. It's called EarTrumpet and it's an open source tool and you can find it here on GitHub. But on GitHub you find only the source code, but there is a link here to jump to this little site. So here they have the eartrumpet.app site and you can get this tool either from the Microsoft Store or install it via Chocolati. So, and that's what I did. I installed that from the Microsoft Store. You find EarTrumpet in there as well and you can install it. And what that gives you is this little icon here. You could also move that icon down here to the taskbar if you always want to have it ready. And you can open that. And here you get all the info at once. So you see also the outputs and you can also open that for all of your output devices. So, and the little advantage of having that icon is you can click it and you directly get here the mixer settings. You don't have to scroll in this other menu to find it. And you can also open that for all of your currently available output devices so you can control all their volume at once in case you play back to different devices. So if you right click on that, you can directly change here your preferred audio output and you can also open even the old Windows mixer and get also to some settings here. And you have also some settings for the tool itself. And there you can, for example, assign key combinations for changing the volume of your devices, opening the mixer and such things. So that's pretty helpful as well. So much for that. What I'm also still using, I have a very old video about AutoHotKey, which is really still a great tool to do key commands and complex stuff on Windows. And I will put down the link in the description of the video. And what I did with that here is on my other computer is that I can do key combinations. For example, if I press Windows key Shift and Q, I mute the output as you see here and enable it again. And I can also change the volume with the same key combination Windows and Shift, and using the scroll wheel of the mouse, I can change the volume. So this is pretty handy for quickly doing these things. And as I said, I will put down the link to this old video, how to do AutoHotKey. It's still relevant down in the video description. So I hope this was helpful to you. Do you also have some tips for Windows audio? Write them down in the comments. And until next time, make some funky music.